Hey, everybody. Hope that your week is getting off to a good start. Hope that you're doing well. It's going to be a busy week for me. I'm going to try and get some of the videos in, maybe today, later today, make a couple of them. If I don't, I apologize, but it's just going to be kind of a busy, crazy week. We're in Acts chapter 20, and I want to share a couple of portions from the end of that chapter. Paul has been talking to the people, and he says this, beginning in Acts 20, in verse 29. He says, I know that after my departure, fierce wolves will come in among you, not sparing the flock. And from among your own selves will arise men speaking twisted things to draw away the disciples after them. Therefore, be alert. And he goes on to say that for 3 years I've admonished you and I've taught you and I commend you to God and to the word of his grace, which is able to build you up and to give you the inheritance among all those who are sanctified. And then he concludes, Luke actually tells us at the very end, he says, and when he had said these things, he knelt down and prayed with them all, and there was much weeping on the part of all. They embraced Paul and kissed him, being sorrowful most of all because of the words he had spoken, that they would not see his face again, and they accompanied him to the ship. On the one hand, what Paul says in preaching to them, he says, I know that after my departure, fierce wolves will come in among you, and they won't spare the flock, and even people from among you will rise up. And that is something that we always have to guard in the church. We always have to guard of those, even inside the church, who come up and bring dissension and bring their own ideas, which aren't always bad, but it's their way of doing it. And this is how you have to do church, and this is the only way to do it. And it's really more of a self-promotion. And we have to always be aware of what is happening and how things are happening. And the call is ultimately to always guard the church. That's how one of my biggest responsibilities, I believe, as a pastor, is to protect the people of the church. And sometimes there's great ideas that come across me and that someone else might give me, but you know what, the time isn't right. And we're not ready for something. And we need to slow something down maybe. And so I really see what Paul is saying. But here he's talking about the people who are actually going to come to destroy the church. And so that's really important of what Paul is trying to say and what he wants the people to understand of what's happening. And so he's saying that, and then he kneels down and he says, you folks aren't going to see me again. I am going to leave, and probably you will never see me again. And then just the weeping and the prayer. And that's the second part of the beauty of the church, of how we come together and we share and we enjoy that fellowship and the care and the camaraderie, the fellowship, the joy of being in one spirit. And it's something that we can't ever lose as a church. It is so important. It is so much of a blessing when we come together and we share the love and the joy of Jesus Christ with one another. So Paul says in Romans 12, we grieve with one another, and we weep with one another, and we celebrate with one another. We share the good times and the not so good times with one another. That is so important. The one another's of the Bible, so important. And so I just want to encourage you today to guard the truth of the Word of God, and then also don't neglect the fellowship of the church as well. It is so important. Have a great day, and God bless you.